Morning, everyone. Let me just set up my screen here. Beautiful. So let's get started right away. So today, Madam Moore. So if you have a ball and a band to help throughout the practice, you can do that. Once we sit down, if you want a cushion or any more padding, you can do that. Maybe a towel. We're going to be doing some rolling up. So if that helps, then we can use a towel. So let's get started. Right here on your feet. Let's find a nice, comfortable position. Maybe the feet are a little bit turned down. Maybe they're straight, and that's okay. So whatever feels right to us. And maybe just bending the knees a little bit, looking where the knees are going, making sure that it goes right between the big toe and the second toe, or maybe just towards the second toe, and then coming back up. Beautiful. So let's lift a little bit on the toes. Let's come back. And again, so gentle lift and taking the time to observe where we feel this. So as you're lifting up on the toes, can you feel the tension happening in the front and then coming back? And again, so lifting a little bit on the toes. So maybe we can go a little bit higher, a little bit higher, a little bit higher, noticing where the tension is happening, and then slowly coming back down. Let's do that one more time. So let's slowly lift up and noticing how the tension is building up, lifting up from the arch of the feet all the way to the inner thighs and up, keeping the ribs down. So now 1 foot at a time so we don't fall over. Take the toes up and then bring it back. And taking the time to spread the toes as we're putting them back down. And again, so noticing where we feel this. Are we pushing the knees back? Are we able to keep them slightly bent in that nice soft position? So from here, let's lean back a little bit on the heels. Don't lift the toes, just keep them down. Noticing tension. Where are we feeling the tension? And then coming back to center. And leaning back. Feeling the tension. Try not to fall over. And then bring them back. One more time. Leaning back. And coming back to center. Maybe bending the knees a little bit if you really tightening up. And from here, we're going to lift all the way onto the toes and back down. All the way to the toes and back down. All the way up and down. All the way up and down. Let's do that 2 more times. Good. Last set. Beautiful. Good. And let's come back here. So let's see if we can put our elbows right under the shoulders, and then we're going to open the chest. So some of us are going to be nice and tight. Some elbows are going to be a little bit further out. We're going to make gentle fist and with kind of a bicep grip. So we're not going to tense up. We're just going to keep a little bit of tension, some energy in those muscles. And then we're going to lift one heel. Bring it down. Don't lose that tension. Don't let your shoulders rise, but keeping the spine long. And then here, let's do a little bit of a kind of a jogging. So keeping that upper body nice and strong, not tight or creating too much tension that we feel we're creating stress. We just want a little bit of tension so that the upper body doesn't move, so that our arms are not swinging. So we're just keeping them exactly where they are. So it's like if we have a plate or a tray with some very important liquid on it. So let's do that 2 more times. So 2, last one, and release. Shake the arms. Beautiful. Let's get some movement into the shoulders. So let's roll the shoulders up and back and making those movements bigger and bigger. And lifting the elbows now. Try not to arch the ribs. Let's do that one more time. And let's see if we can add our legs to this. So we're gonna lift, adding the legs to this. So lifting up and down. And again, lifting up. Try not to arch at the ribs. So we're not opening the front of the ribs, but we're keeping the chest lifted. Good. Let's do that one more time. Whew. And release. So staying right here, little bend, and then coming back up. Little bend, and back up, little bend. So noticing where the knees are going, making sure that they're going in straight in line with the toes. Let's do that 2 more times. And here we're focusing on keeping the back nice and straight. So we don't want to hinge forward. We're going only as far down as we feel comfortable, keeping ourselves straight up. Maybe this is as much as we're going, and that's okay. That's what we need. That's what we want. Good. So now let's take one for that. Not very far. Keeping the hips square. And then we're going to do the same thing. Go with one for the back. And we're going to try to create as much flexion in the ankle as we can. And then coming back. And back. Keeping the back nice and straight. That's it. Let's go for 2 more. Last one. Good. And then we're going to put the top of the foot on the floor. And we're going to do the same thing. Now, if you need something to hold on, you can do that. Feeling a stretch in the front of the foot. And one more. Let's go to the other side. So a little step back, putting the toes down and coming up and down with a nice straight spine, only going as far down as we feel comfortable, and trying to really move through the ankle. Good, 2 more. Last one, keeping the ribs down, engaging the core. Good. Let's put the top of the foot down. Good, up and down. Now maybe your toes are just staying up. Maybe we can fold a little bit more, or we can put more of the top of the foot on the floor. That's okay. Good. Let's do that 2 more times, keeping the back nice and long. Good. And release. Shaking the feet if they need to. And let's do some roll down. So from here, lengthening the spine, bringing the chin down, and imagine that we are rolling over a bar. Try not to push your hips back. So rounding forward, all the way down, bend the knees if you need to, engage the belly, and then drop the tailbone to engage the movement up, and then release. Lengthen the spine, dropping the chin, rounding forward, using the belly to slow down the movement, keeping the core engaged, keeping some weight a little bit on the heels, and engaging the belly and using the tailbone to start the movement. Good. On the next one, we'll walk ourselves out. So inhale and exhale, drop the chin, rolling ourselves down, using the belly to slow down the movement. And then from here, bring the hands down to the floor, walking our hands out into a plank, and then bending the knees. Maybe putting the knees down to walk back, coming back. Now if we need to hinge up, we hinge up, or we drop the tailbone, pulling the belly up to come back into that standing position. Let's do that one more time. Dropping the chin, rolling down. And then from here, bring the hands down, walking the hands forward, Putting the knees down. And let's do a few cat-cow. So, dropping the tail, rounding the back. And then moving the tailbone towards the ceiling, letting the chest open and looking forward. Dropping the tailbone, rounding the back. And again, tailbone. And all the way. And one more time. And now let's just come back to a neutral position. And we're going to push the floor away, rounding the upper back, keeping the core nice and strong. And then we're going to lower the chest without arching the back. So we're not dropping the belly. We're just bringing the chest closer to the floor. And then we're going to push away. And again, chest forward. Try not to let go of the belly. The ribs are staying in. And last one. Coming back up. So now let's do some kind of circle. So we're going to bring down and let the shoulders go forward towards the ears, pushing up. Try not to drop the ribs. So creating that nice circle. So only the shoulder blades are moving, not changing the shape of the spine. So a little bit harder than we think. So now let's reverse the movement, keeping the back nice and straight. Not a big movement so that we don't arch the back. And let's release. Let's sit back a little bit. Maybe we need to move our wrist. And let's pull on our wrist. And again, let's pull on our wrist. And let's get back there. Okay. So from here, if you want to go onto your elbows, you can go ahead. So let's find your nice neutral position. And we're going to take the knees off the floor. And then we're going to do the same thing. Back out. Good. Keeping the knees off the floor. And let's do that 2 more times. If you need to put the knees down, you go ahead. You put the knees down. That's it. Last one. Come back to center. Release the knees. And then sit back on the heels. So we'll get back to that a little bit later. So for now, we're just going to rest our wrists. So let's lay down on our back. So I'm just going to bring the screen down a little bit. Beautiful. So from here, let's lay down on our back. Beautiful. So from here, let's make sure we have our band nice and close. And let's fold it in 4. If you have a towel, it's much easier because it's already, it's less elastic, there's less stretch. So, good. Okay, so from there, I'm just going to leave it there. And from here, I'm just going to do a cat-cow stretch. But just to bring my lower back towards the floor without tucking under too much. Using my belly, pushing the lower back down, and then I'm going to release. One more time. Pushing the lower back down and release. One last time. Keeping the ribs from opening. Beautiful. Good. So now I'm going to come back into a nice neutral position where the weight is on the sacrum. And now I'm going to take my shoulder band I'm gonna put it right against the occipital ridge or just slightly above the neck where you feel that little bump. And then from here, I'm gonna keep the elbows in a little bit more. So we don't want the elbows out. We don't want the elbows all the way in. We want to go for right in between. And then from here, let's stay in that nice neutral position. On the next exhale, we're gonna use our hands and then we're gonna pull our head up. And then from here, let's take a deep breath in. On the next exhale, let's see if we can drop the front of the ribs a little bit more, lifting up a little bit more, and then releasing. Let's do that again. Let's drop the front of the ribs, lifting the head, and then again, lifting a little bit more, and release. 2 more times. You can go faster if you want. You can go slower. Feel free to take a break if you need to. Make sure the head is supported by the bed. And let's release. Beautiful. Let's hold it there. So find a nice neutral position. And I'm going to slide one foot out. And then we're going to slide it back in. Keeping the ribs from arching. Keeping the hips from tipping. So we don't want to increase the movement of we don't want to move the hips. We don't want the ribs to open. Good. Let's do that one more time. Good. And let's come back. So let's see if we can add the upper body to this. So holding on to the bend. Bring those elbows not wide open, not too close. And then from here, let's bring the head up. Let's support the head with the band. And then sliding the leg. Try not to lose that nice neutral position. And the leg back in and release. And again, and lift. Don't change the hips. Keep the head resting in the band. And release one last time. And lift. Dropping the front of the ribs nice, straight back. Good. And let's come back. Beautiful. So now let's find our imprint. So let's engage the belly, letting the lower back come down to the mat without clenching. So we are just using our belly. And then from here, dropping the ribs. Let's bring the head up. Let's not lose our imprint. And then coming back. And then again, keeping the ribs down. Let the head be supported by the band and the arms. Don't drop. Don't let the ribs go. Keep that connection between the ribs and the hips. Good, beautiful. Next one, let's hold it up. You know what's coming up? Let's slide the leg. Don't let the lower back change its shape. Keeping the pressure there. And then release. And again. And lift. And slide. Bring it up. Not changing the position of the hips. The pressure stays at the same place. Good. Let's come back up again. Let's slide. And again. And back. And release. Beautiful. So let's put the band aside. Let's go into some bridging. And then from here, we're going to peel ourselves off the mat. So we're going to tap under and peeling ourselves up, pressing the feet down, lifting up, keeping those hips nice and even, and then rolling down. So as we are peeling ourselves up, let's see if we can push the knees away from our head and then rolling back down, keeping that pressure on the knees going away from us. Let's do that one more time. And coming back down, beautiful. So let's add some arms to this. So we're gonna peel ourselves up, pushing the knees away, bring the arms up, and then from here, let's roll ourselves back down, pushing the knees away, reaching away with the fingers, and then release the arms. And again, roll up, bring the arms up, keep pushing the fingertips away, rounding down, and release. Wonderful. So from here, take a deep breath in and finding a nice neutral position. Let's press the hips up. And then we're going to drop one hip. And then we're going to bring it back down. So we're going to keep that movement nice and small because we're going to release only one side of our underbody. So we're just kind of releasing our gluteals just a little bit and re-engaging. So it's one side and the other. So what's happening is the hip will drop a little bit, but it's not a very big movement. Good. That's it. Let's do that one more time on each side. Good. And let's release the hips. Beautiful. Let's do one more. Let's inhale. On the exhale, lift up into that nice long line, pushing the knees away, finding a nice even hips. Take one leg up, and then bring it back down. And other leg up, and back down. And again, try not to let the hips tip. You can use your upper arms to create a little bit more stability, keeping that connection, ribs, hips, and one more time, each side. Good, and release. Feel free to pull the knees into your chest. Good. So now I'm going to bring the feet apart, and so wider than the hips. And then we're going to use our external rotators. So squeeze your glutes to open the legs. So we're going to use our inner thighs, and we're going to imagining them rotating. So the inner part is now lifting towards the ceiling. And from there, keeping nice and strong in the hips, and then coming back down without losing that external rotation in the thighs. And again, you can use your upper body to create a little bit of pressure so that you can support a little bit better. And let's do that one more time. And release. Beautiful. And I'll bring the feet closer together and open the knees. And then from here, finding a nice neutral position, press the feet down, take the hips up, and then open the knees a little bit more. Let them come back in. Each glutes to pull the knees and release. And pull and release. Two more times. Pull, release. Last one. And release. Bring knees up. Release. Beautiful. Pull the knees into your chest. Let's lengthen the legs. We're going to do our first roll. So bring the arms and rolling themselves up. Feel free to come up in any way that you feel comfortable. And then from here, let's make our way back into a table position. So finding the hands right under the shoulders. And from here, we're going to find our balance. One arm up, one leg up, and then bring it back. And again, other side. and back. Moving own pace, finding the balance, finding that nice, strong belly, strong back. Good. Let's do one more. Good. So let's change this a little bit. From here, one side up, and then from here, sliding back without moving towards one knee. So we're going to keep pushing with the opposite hand. And we don't want to drop that shoulder. Stay nice and strong. I'm going to keep that leg lifted. Coming back and release. Other side. Find a nice long spine, shoulder away from the ear. Reach back. Keep lifting that leg. Try not to lean towards the supporting knee. So if the weight on that supporting knee is not right in the middle, that means that we are leaning. So if you need to lean towards the inside of the knee more than the outside. Good. One last time. Or you can do two more, just to make sure that you're even on both sides. Keep lifting that back leg. And release. Beautiful. Sit back on your heels. Maybe rock it a little bit side to side. Good. And then from here, let's make our way onto our belly. Good. So with the hands on each side of the chest, maybe they're more under the shoulders. That's okay. Either way. So from here, let's imagine that we are pushing our elbows back towards the feet and squeezing the shoulder blades. And then the hands feel like we want to kind of push ourselves back. And then coming back down. And again, open the chest, belly is in, nice, neutral, back, pressing the elbows down and towards the feet. The hands are pushing forward and then back. So creating a lot of engagement, not just in the back, but also our arms are working at the same time. And then back down. Okay, so from here, let's bend the knees. So now we're going to need our hands on each side. You could also go onto your elbows. And from here, let's take a deep breath in. Squeeze the legs together. Lift the hips up. So now all the pressure is on the chest. Push the elbows back and towards the feet. And let's lift the chest just slightly off the floor. And then back down and release. Let's take a quick break. And again, nice strong core. Pushing the elbows back towards the feet. Hips are off the floor. And then we are lifting the chest just a little bit. And then release. Let's come back up. Sit back on the heels. Stretching the lower back, moving the wrist, maybe decompressing the wrist a little bit. Good. And let's come back down. But this time we're going to go into a plank. So feel free to go onto your elbows. So from here, let's go into a nice plank. Let's take a deep breath in. On the exhale, push the hips up. And then coming back to a nice plank. And again, push back. And come back to a plank. One last time. Keep that rib, hip connection happening. And come back. Let's take a quick break. Shake the wrist. Let's go back. So from here, we're going to take one foot off the floor. So we don't need to lift the leg. Not right now anyway. So from here, nice square. And then push. And come back. And release. Other foot up. Nice straight. Reach back. Hips are staying square. Shoulders are staying square. Come back. That's it. And again. Reach up. Keep those hips square, shoulders square. Back to the plank. And again. Reaching up. Keep that leg lifted. Bring the foot down and release. Okay, let's put it all together. So from here, we're going to go into plank. And we're going to lower ourselves down nice and slow. And roll the shoulders back to lift the chest. And bring it back. Bend the knees. Lift the hip. Press up. Toes down. Lift up. And again, come forward. Lowering yourself down. And lift the chest. Bring it down. Bend the knees. Press up. And plank. Beautiful. Come back. Knees down. And sitting back. Beautiful. So let's leave our hands. Let's give them a break. And we're going to go into a side plank. But first, let's stay down on our side. So from here, I'm going to put the hand on the bony part of the hip. And then from here, take a deep breath in. On the exhale, use the hand to push the hip away, noticing the lift in the bottom waistband. And from here, taking the top hand, bring it down. Don't lose that hip. And lifting both knees. Bring back down. Lifting both knees. And back down. Now, we're going to try to lift it a little bit higher. My hips are going to rotate back a little bit. That's okay. Come back to center and release. So we're going to try to make this as controlled as possible. So we're not just throwing the legs up and dropping them. We're going to control the way up and control the way down. And again, make sure that bottom waistband is lifted. And lift both knees. Ooh. And lift a little bit higher. Come back and release. Let's see if we can add to this. You don't have to. You can keep going with the same thing. So finding that nice position. Lift. Can we extend the legs? Bring them back. And down. Nice. Let's do one more knee lifts. So from here, let's hold it here. Let's open and close. So I'm a little bit leaning back. If you feel comfortable coming nice and straight, you can do that. That's it. One more. Good. And let's keep them open. Bring the bottom knee down. Take the leg up a little bit more. And internal rotation. External rotation. Internal. External. Now here we're staying static on the hip. Trying to internally rotate as much as possible. Externally rotate as much as possible. Good. And back to center and down. Beautiful. Let's lengthen both legs. So keeping the legs slightly forward. So if your back is at the back edge of your mat, bring the feet to the front corner of the mat. Just make sure that if you're not stable enough, that you bend the bottom leg. So from here, still push that hip away. You can keep the hand here. You can bring a hand forward, but try not to lean into that hand. Just keep it there for balance. Let's take the leg forward and let's take it back. Let's see if the leg can stay level with the hip. So we don't want to bring it higher. We don't want to bring it lower. That's it. Nice and straight. Forward and back. One more time. Good. Let's bring it back. Let's take a quick break. So now taking the leg up, we're going to bring the toes forward. And I'm going to take the heels back and toes forward and heels back. So internally rotating, externally rotating, internally rotating, externally. Two more. Forward and back and forward and back. Let's take a quick break. Letting go. Beautiful. Let's get back into our position. But this time, we're going to externally rotate forward, and then we're going to internally rotate back. Externally rotate, so heel forward and toes back. Heels forward and toes back. That's it. Two more. Last one. Good. And release. And pull both knees into the chest. So we're going to take the top leg. We're going to take it nice and close to our chest. Try to get a nice little hug to that leg. And then we're going to release. And again. And roll. And back. Beautiful. And then from here, let's go into a side plank. You can go on your hand, on your toes, or on your elbows and your knees. Same thing. So I'm going to make sure we're in a nice straight line. So knees, hip, shoulders. From here, you can keep your hand there. But if you want to try with your arm open, you can try that. And then from here, pressing the elbow down so that the shoulder wants to lift. Push the bottom knee down so that the hips now wants to lift. And then from here, take the arm up and rotate so you can slide them under the arm. And then coming back. And again, trying to keep those hips nice and steady. And then back. One last time. Nice and steady. Don't lose your bottom arm. Back up and release. Separate the legs to come up into mermaid. Let's do a few. Just nice, gentle mermaid. One more time. That's it. Good. And from here, we're going to switch sides. So I'm going to turn a little bit. You guys can fully turn. So I'm in that mermaid position, and I'm going to try to go all the way to the other side so that I can get into my side laying position. Bring the knees forward, using the hand to help push the hip away. We can take the bottom hand down, and then we're going to lift and release. Lift and release. And again, lift, release. We can go a little bit higher. Maybe we are rotating a little bit. That's okay. And let's see if we can extend the legs. You don't have to. So lift, engage your core, reach back and down. Let's go up, open and close, open and close. As the shoulders away from the ears, keep that top hip push away. Good. Let's keep that open. Let's release the leg down. And we're going to internally rotate and externally. Now the hips are staying nice and steady. And don't forget to breathe. Keep pushing the top hip away. Let's lift in bottom waist. That's it. 2 more. Good. Nice. And release. Let's extend both legs. Beautiful. So finding that those square hips, so there's a gap at the waist bend. Both feet are in the front corner, or you can bend the bottom leg if you feel that you need that. And don't forget to breathe. Push that top hip away so the toes feel like you want to go draw that line on the wall. Good. That's it. Come back to center and release. So now we're going to do that toes forward, heel back. So find your position and toes forward, heel back. Keep those hips nice and square. Belly is in. Bottom waist is lifted. Good. So you could go onto your elbows. Also making sure that the shoulder is away from the ear. That's it. One. Good. Let's take a quick break. Beautiful. So now we're going to go heel forward, toes back. Good. So heel forward and toes back. Heel forward, toes back, keeping the hips nice and square. Heels forward, toes back. Reach that foot away, shoulder away from the ears. If you want a little bit more of a challenge, just go onto the elbow instead of the forearm. Let's do that one more time. Good. And release. Shake legs. Beautiful. And let's go into that side plank. So you can go onto your elbow or hand, knee, or toes. Then from here, let's make sure we're into a straight line. And press the elbow down to lift out of that shoulder. Press the bottom knee down, lifting the hips. Take the arm up and rotate. So we're going to rotate the upper body, keeping the chest open. So the forearm can be forward, or you can put the forearm face, the hand or the fist facing away. That's your choice. Keep that arm engaged. Good. And release. Separate the feet. Come up into that mermaid. Feel a little just fun mermaid. Okay, so from here, just for the fun of it, we're gonna come back here. I'm gonna go here so I stay facing you guys, and try not to use our hands. Let's slide the knees to the other side, and let's lay down our back. Beautiful. So let's do some more roll-ups. So if you need the towel, just put it in. So from here, dropping the ribs, bringing the arms up, exhale, rolling up. Good. And roll down. And rolling up. And roll down. Bring the arms up. Now we're going to circle the arms. And we're going to roll up. And roll down. Engaging the legs, keeping the ribs down. Roll up. Last one. Hold down, circling the arms and coming up. Beautiful. So now I'm going to try to come up more on the side body. So if rolling up is an issue, just come on up any way you want and just rolling it back down nice and slow. But this time we're going to keep the hands together. So if the hands together is too much, you can take the band to keep out, or you can hold on to the ball. So I'm going to start with the ball. So making sure the legs are nice and long. Let's roll down. Good. And we're going to circle to one side and come up in that direction. And rolling down and circle both arms to the same direction. Ooh, that side is a little bit more challenging for me. Good. That's okay. We all have one side that's giving us a little bit more problems. Good. One more time. Good. Beautiful. Let's put the ball down. And then from here, we're going to roll down. And then we're going to pull one knee into the chest. And we're going to do some single leg stretch. Let's move nice and slow. So into using an entire inhale. We're going to switch side. And then from here, we're going to exhale twice. And then inhale, nice and slow. And exhale. And again, don't forget, the head can be down. And again, nice and slow. And again. One more time on each side. Last one. And release. Both legs down, bring the arms up. Circle yourself up. Good. Now we're going to go around with the world. So again, you can have your ball, your bed, or the hands together. And rolling up, circle, and up. Other side. Roll down, and circle. Good. And roll back down. Taking one knee into the chest, and other leg is up. But this time, instead of just pulsing, we're going to do circle, little circle, one direction. Whew. And then switch side, circle. And again, other direction. And switch. And release. Hands down, bring the arms up, and roll up. That's it. So let's go this time all the way around the world. So we're gonna lean to one side. We're gonna roll down, circle the arms to the other side to roll up. And again, roll down. Let's go to the other side. Circle. Ooh, and up, and let's roll down both knees into the chest. So we're gonna push the knees into our hands, hands into our knees. Inhale, reaching nice and tall, and push, and exhale. Inhale, exhale. Two more. Inhale. Inhale. And bring the feet down. Lengthen the legs. Bring the arms up. And circle up. Beautiful. And from here, let's go right into some nice stretching. So let's go into the mermaid again. So if you have a ball, you can use the ball. If not, feel free to just kind of slide on your mat. And then from here, let's take one arm towards the feet and reach it out. So from here, I'm using the ball to help me reach. Hip stays down and over and coming up and over and back. Keep the hip down as much as possible. Over and up. Let's put the ball aside. Let's find our front knee. Inhale, open the chest and lower it down. And inhale, coming back up, nice straight spine, moving forward. And round up, opening the chest and down. And up. One more time. Down and up. So let's just bring ourselves down, maybe rocking a little bit, side to side. And each time, let's see if we can go a little bit further. That's it. A little bit further. Good. And let's stay here. Good. Just finding a nice open front hip. If you feel comfortable, bring your elbow down. And I'm going to reach over and forward. And over and around. Let's do that 2 more times. Over and around. Beautiful. 1 more time. Let's stay here. Now let's turn, trying to pull the top arm under and then pulling it back and under, pulling it back and coming back to center, walking ourselves forward and rolling up other side. Grab the ball if you want. And over the feet. Come back. Rolling away. Keep the top hip down as much as you can. Moving at your own pace. Moving slow. Just following your breath. And exhale. So you can go a little bit further on the exhale. And coming back up. And on this one, let's turn towards the knee and flat back down, rounding forward. So inhaling, exhaling, coming down. Inhaling, coming up, exhaling, down. That's it, 1 more time. Good. And let's swing side to side. And trying to go as far back as we feel comfortable. Looking over your back shoulder will help. And reaching up as far as we can. Beautiful. Let's come down to the elbow and reach up. And circle back. Reach up. And circle back. 1 more time. Reach up and under and back up and under and back up 1 more time. Under, back up. Let's come back. Let's round ourselves forward and up. Beautiful. So from here, let's see if we can come up onto our feet without using our hands. So you can do it any way you want. So from here, let's come on up and 1 foot forward and the other foot. Beautiful. So we're done for today. So I hope you had a great time and let's see you again. Thank you.